Your dog stares at a wall when there's nothing there, or suddenly runs to the door even though you heard no sound, or retreats to a corner and starts trembling hours before a storm arrives. Is this magic? Of course not. Dogs live in a world of frequencies your brain cannot process. They see light your eyes cannot detect, hear sounds your ears cannot perceive, and continuously process chemical information your nose could never make sense of. Today we'll talk about 11 strange things, documented through scientific research, that dogs can perceive but we cannot. 1. Ultrasonic sounds. The human ear can hear sounds between 20 and 20,000 hertz. Dogs, on the other hand, can hear sounds starting from 40 hertz all the way up to 65,000, and according to some research, even 100,000 hertz. Humans and dogs are quite similar when it comes to hearing low-frequency sounds. The difference emerges at high frequencies. While humans can hear up to 20,000 hertz at most, dogs can perceive ultrasonic sounds ranging from 70,000 to 100,000 hertz. What does this mean? The hum of electrical lines you never notice, the sound of water flowing through pipes, even the movement of mice behind walls. These carry great meaning for your dog. Your dog's unprovoked barking is most often a response to a sound you simply cannot hear. 2. Earthquakes and seismic vibrations. There is a historical observation recorded in Greece in 373 BC. Days before a major earthquake, snakes, rats, and dogs abandoned the area. Modern science continues to investigate this observation. A study conducted following an earthquake in Siberia found that a small but significant group of dogs displayed anxiety symptoms, barking, howling, whimpering, and restless movement, minutes to hours before the quake. So what is the mechanism behind this? According to the findings of researcher Dr. Stanley Coren, small-headed dogs, which are more sensitive to high frequencies, showed much higher levels of activity and anxiety increases before earthquakes compared to large-headed dogs. This points to dogs hearing high-frequency seismic sounds produced by underground rock movements. 3. Sensing a storm from kilometers away. If your dog suddenly becomes restless hours before a storm or rain, this is no coincidence. Before a storm approaches, atmospheric pressure drops. Dogs detect this pressure change much earlier than we do. In addition, the frequencies dogs can hear and the scent changes their noses process provide them with an environmental early warning system. Dogs have sensitive enough noses to pick up the smell of rain long before it falls. They are also extremely responsive to changes in atmospheric pressure. So your dog hiding under the bed may come before the meteorological forecast. 4. Seeing the Earth's magnetic field. This is perhaps the most surprising item on the list. Researchers from the Max Planck Brain Research Institute in Frankfurt identified a light-sensitive molecule called cryptochrome 1 in the photoreceptors of dogs' eyes. This molecule was already known to be responsible for magnetic field perception in birds, and it has now been found in dogs as well. Is there behavioral evidence? In 2013, researchers from the Czech University of Life Sciences documented that dogs spontaneously align themselves along the north-south axis when defecating and urinating. In a more recent study, 27 hunting dogs were tracked with GPS and cameras across more than 600 trials in 62 different forested areas. It was observed that after tracking an animal's scent and returning to their owners, the dogs performed a short compass run in the north-south direction. Researchers believe this is how dogs express their magnetic perception. Your dog has a hidden compass inside. Had you heard this before? Write it in the comments. 5. Smelling cancer and illness. There is an interesting case that entered the medical literature in 1989. A woman showed her doctor a skin lesion her dog had repeatedly shown interest in. From that day on, science took this field seriously. Scientists trained dogs to detect cancers such as bladder, lung, breast, prostate, ovarian cancer, and melanoma through scent from urine, breath, and tissue samples, and numerous studies have been published in this area. It is thought that dogs can detect these compounds at much lower concentrations than we can, and that this is the key to detecting cancer through scent. In some studies, the accuracy rate reached 90%. Your dog's nose is as powerful as a medical device not yet invented. 6. Seeing the flicker in screens. Have you noticed that your dog shows no interest in the TV? Or sometimes stares at the screen with a strange look? According to research, dogs are much more sensitive to flickering than humans. This means that video footage that appears smooth to humans may appear as a broken, stuttering image to dogs. This was especially true for older, low-resolution screens. Newer high-definition televisions offer a more user-friendly experience for dogs. Fluorescent lights create a different problem. Research shows that dogs can perceive the flicker of fluorescent lights and that this is a serious distraction for them. This high sensitivity may cause dogs to feel as though they are trapped in a room with constantly flashing lights, explaining why some dogs avoid areas with fluorescent lighting. 7. Smelling a human's emotional chemistry. When you say, "My dog knows when I'm scared," this is not a figurative expression. It is literally true. Emotions such as fear, stress, and excitement cause the body to release hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. These hormones enter the bloodstream, reach the sweat glands, and exit through the skin. The human nose cannot detect them. The dog's nose can. Scientific studies show that dogs can detect through scent when their owner's blood pressure rises or their heart rate changes. Some trained dogs can even detect the scent changes related to insulin before blood sugar drops. Your dog may know you better than you know yourself. 8. Locating the direction of sound with microscopic precision. Have you ever watched your dog's ears rotate independently? This is no coincidence. This is a feat of engineering. Because dogs' ears can rotate and tilt independently, they can direct sound with incredible precision. This structure allows them to pinpoint where a sound is coming from far more accurately than the human ear. While the human ear localizes sound with approximately 1 degree of deviation, dogs can do this with a much finer angular precision. That is why your dog runs to the door long before you hear anything. It is not a miracle, but superior auditory computation. 9. Reading old scents, smelling time. Alexandra Horowitz's research revealed that dogs do not only smell space, but also smell time. When a dog enters a room, it can deduce from the scent trail who was there hours ago, in which direction they went, and when they left. As the intensity of a scent fades, the dog understands that it is an old scent. Dogs can track scents left hours or even days ago. They can also detect animals at great distances. Given these abilities, a dog reacting to nothing is actually completely normal. We simply cannot perceive what it is reacting to. If you see your dog still sniffing the armchair where an old friend used to sit, they haven't forgotten that person. The scent is still there. 10. Hearing human heartbeats and blood sugar changes. Some dogs can warn their owners before a seizure by detecting subtle physiological changes, such as muscle contractions or altered breathing patterns. Dogs that detect blood sugar drops also fall into this category. Around the world, alert dogs working alongside individuals with epilepsy and diabetes use exactly this mechanism. Dogs documented as being able to give a warning 10 to 45 minutes before a seizure begins. These dogs develop this skill through training. But what makes it possible is not the training itself. It is the dog's biological perceptual capacity. 11. Seeing much faster changes in light, masterfully using twilight. Dogs are not colorblind, they simply see different colors. They cannot distinguish red from green, and they see the world more in shades of blue and yellow. But while this may seem like a limitation, in another area dogs are far superior to humans. Dogs are much better than humans at detecting fast-moving objects and subtle changes in light. In twilight and darkness, a reflective layer in their eyes called the tapetum lucidum allows them to use available light far more efficiently. This is why your dog moves far more comfortably than you in the dark. Their eyes are calibrated for a different world of light. The next time you look at your dog, think about this. They hear sounds you cannot hear. They see light you cannot see. They can feel the Earth's magnetic field. They can detect changes in your health through scent. They know a storm is coming hours before it arrives. You think you are their owner, but perhaps they are watching, reading, and understanding you through dozens of different channels every single day. What stands before you is not just a dog. It is a living being that exists far beyond the limits of your perception, and that living being chooses you. See you in the next video. If you enjoyed it, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because real science-based content like this will keep coming every week. Write in the comments, in what way has your dog surprised you the most?